He came for a weapon shown a girl with a head cage. The dust of the scorched flats clung to everything in the settlement: cloth, metal, skin, and bone. Kael had traveled 3 weeks to reach this forsaken place, following whispers through trader camps and black market forums. The weapon he sought was supposed to be legendary, unbreakable, unstoppable, worth enough credits to disappear into the outer territories forever. He pushed through the tattered canvas entrance of the compound, squinting against the haze of sand and smoke. The settlement was smaller than he'd expected, a cluster of makeshift structures held together by rusted corrugated metal and hope. Yet the security apparatus was undeniable. Turrets rotated lazily from tower tops. Armed guards patrolled the perimeter with practiced efficiency. This was no ordinary trading post. A figure emerged from the central tent, approaching with the confident stride of someone accustomed to authority. The merchant was tall, weathered, with eyes the color of storm clouds. His name was Kes, and according to rumor, he controlled the most exotic inventory in 3 territories. "You're the buyer from the north," Kes said, not as a question. "I'm a buyer," Kael replied carefully. "I was told you have something extraordinary." Kes smiled, the expression not reaching his eyes. "Follow me." The interior of the compound revealed its true nature. What appeared ramshackle from outside concealed a sophisticated operation. Locked chambers lined both sides of a main corridor. Through reinforced windows, Kael glimpsed experimental armor, weapons he couldn't identify, and technologies that seemed decades ahead of standard manufacturing. They descended a metal staircase into cooler air. Industrial lighting flickered to life as they passed, triggered by motion sensors. The walls here were solid concrete, thick enough to withstand significant punishment. This was a vault, and they were going deeper. "The weapon you've heard about," Kes began, "has very specific requirements. It's not something you simply purchase and deploy. It requires management." "I'm listening," Kael said. Kes stopped before a reinforced observation window and gestured for Kael to look inside. The chamber beyond housed a single figure. At first, Kael's mind struggled to process what he was seeing. The being before him appeared humanoid, a young woman, perhaps mid-20s, with blue-tinted skin and strange, geometric patterns tattooed across her arms and torso. But what seized his attention immediately was the cage around her head. It was not crude. The metalwork was intricate, elegant even, composed of what looked like platinum-reinforced steel. It covered her head completely, leaving only her eyes visible through an opening, and her mouth, sealed behind a grid of small bars. The cage was locked at the back of her neck with mechanisms Kael couldn't fully decipher. "What am I looking at?" Kael asked, his voice instinctively dropping. "The weapon you came for," Kes replied. "Her name is Sera. She was engineered from prototype materials, synthetic biology combined with neural augmentation. Faster than anything human, stronger than steel, and absolutely under my control." Kael watched through the window as the woman, Sera, turned her head toward the glass, as if she could sense their observation. Those visible eyes tracked his movement with unsettling intelligence. "Why the cage?" Kael asked, though some part of him already knew the answer. "Because," Kes said quietly, "her potential is unlimited. Without containment, without control, she becomes a threat to everything around her. The cage isn't punishment. It's necessity. It keeps her mind clear, her aggression directed. It keeps everyone safe." "You want me to buy her," Kael said, understanding dawning. "In that cage. I want you to understand what you'd be acquiring. Sera is the apex of weapons development. Military-grade reflexes, enhanced cognition, rapid adaptation. She can lift 3 tons. Her skin can withstand small-caliber rounds. Her recovery time from injury is measured in hours, not days. Kes turned away from the window. She also has no empathy, no compassion, no mercy. She feels nothing for her targets or her allies. She is pure instrument. And the cage remains on. The cage, Kes confirmed, never comes off. The moment you remove it, she becomes unstable, unpredictable, dangerous to you and whoever employs her. The cage is the only insurance policy you'll ever need. Kael moved closer to the glass. Sera's eyes followed him. There was something in those eyes that contradicted everything Kes had said. Intelligence, yes. Strength, undoubtedly. But also something else, something that looked like awareness, like recognition of her own imprisonment. I need time, Kael said. You have 1 hour, Kes replied. After that, I have 3 other interested parties. One's already made an offer. Kael spent the next 40 minutes in the observation chamber, watching Sera move within her confined space. She paced methodically, her movements fluid and precise. Once, she performed a series of exercises, push-ups, pull-ups on a bar suspended in her cell, that demonstrated the physical prowess Kes had described. But it was her eyes that held Kael's attention. They never stopped watching him. At minute 55, Kael made his decision. But not the one Kes expected. I want to speak to her, Kael said when Kes returned. That's not one conversation. Then I'll decide whether I'm interested. Kes considered this, then nodded to a guard, who unsealed a communication panel. Static resolved into audio. Sera, Kael spoke into the mic, can you hear me? She nodded once, her eyes still fixed on him through the glass. Why do you think he keeps you in the cage? Kael asked. When she answered, her voice was soft, deliberate, each word chosen with precision. Because I asked him to. Kael's breath caught. Kes made a noise of annoyance beside him. I showed him what I could do without restrictions, Sera continued. 3 guards died in the first week. I didn't choose it. I simply responded to their threats. But I felt nothing. The cage helps. It gives me boundaries, structure. It keeps me from becoming the monster he fears. And if someone removed it? Kael asked. Then I would have to choose what I become, Sera said quietly. Whether to be his weapon, or to be something else entirely. Kael stepped back from the speaker. He looked at Kes. How much? 2 million credits. I'm not buying her, Kael said, heading toward the exit. Then why did you? Because you're selling her as a slave, Kael interrupted. And I came here looking for a weapon. But what I'm seeing is a person. And I don't trade in those. Kes moved to intercept him, but Kael's hand was already near his weapon. The 2 men locked eyes for a moment of dangerous possibility before Kes stepped aside. As Kael climbed the staircase back to ground level, he heard Sera's voice through the speaker one last time. Thank you. He didn't look back. The dust of the scorched flats rose around him as he drove away, his vehicle kicking up clouds that obscured the compound behind him. He didn't know what kind of weapon he would find, or if he would find one at all. But he knew that some things, some people, couldn't be owned or controlled. As he disappeared into the haze toward the horizon, a new mission formed in his mind. Not to find a weapon, but to free one.